Discovering Asian dramas back in 2018 was an enlightening moment for me, and I've never looked back. I enjoy talking about them just as much as watching them, so much so that I decided to create a podcast with a heavier focus on Chinese dramas but passing through Korean, Japanese, Thai and Filipino dramas. Welcome to the Tea and Soju Asian Drama Podcast, your corner for drama talking. For more tea and soju content, consider joining Patreon, where I release extra reviews and polls. Everything is linked in the episode description. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Tea and Soju Asian Drama Podcast. I'm your host Liliana, and today's episode marks the start of a new series which I'm going to make my way throughout the year. So, throughout the year we'll just have a couple of these episodes peppered in here and there, and that is the episodes which I haven't actually decided what I'm going to call them yet. But it'll basically be about my favourite actors and actresses, but also it'll be peppered in with my, the directors that I look out for, as well as the screenwriters that I look out for. For today's episode, we're actually starting with the actresses, portion of the series, and that's what we will do today. So the format that these episodes are going to take will basically be, I will start off by just talking about some facts about the actor or actress or director or, screenwriter that episode is focused on. Now, for directors and screenwriters, this may be a little bit more difficult, and actually I reckon I will probably do a couple per episode, simply because it's quite hard. There's not as much information about them because they obviously tend to stay a lot more in the background than, the actors and the actresses. So that will be why. But actually, I'll be finding out a lot of this stuff as well, because I don't tend to... there's actors and actresses that I will start a drama for. There's not a lot nowadays, but I don't actually know a lot about them in terms of, where did they start acting or anything like that. So this will be a journey where I will be learning just as much as you guys. But that's, that will be the start of the episode. And then just, facts like where they were born and their age, when they started acting, and then I'll move on to talk about their dramas, and within that I will actually go through the list, and if I've watched a drama, I'll just give you my thoughts about that particular drama, and in this way it'll actually allow me to touch on dramas which I would probably never touch, because some of these I watched 2 years ago, so for me to do a full-blown episode on them, I would have to rewatch all of it, and I don't tend to rewatch anything, so that may be that would make it a bit more difficult. So yeah, it'll just give me a nice opportunity to talk about some dramas, which, just wouldn't really have a place in the podcast otherwise. And yeah, then I will just wrap up. But within that, talking about the dramas, that will allow me to also then talk about why I enjoy the actor or actress or director or screenwriter that I'm talking about, because it'll be much easier to just sort of talk about it within the aspects of what I liked about them, in the dramas that I watched of them. So yes, that will be the format of these episodes. I hope you like them. I hope you think this is a good idea. I'm still unsure of them. I've been having lots of ideas, and I thought, do you know what? I'll just throw them out on the podcast and kind of try them out and see how I feel about them, because until we kind of record an episode and put it out to you guys, then it's really hard for us to know what to what will be worth listening to. To me, I can literally sit down and just talk for good while about dramas and, you know, what I'm loving, but that might not be necessarily what you guys want to listen to. So, you know, I think this will be quite a good series because it allow me to like I said, allow me to touch on things that I probably wouldn't be able to, not that I wouldn't be able to, but you know, that would be hard to sort of fit into the podcast as a whole. So for these series, it'll mainly be actors and actresses and, you know, from China, since that's where I watch the bulk of my dramas. And I think actually that's where a lot of my like favorite actors and actresses tend to be from, are from China. However, I also have a few from, you know, Korea that I will also want to do episodes on. So that will be included in this series. And obviously, like, as you know, as the series goes on and as the podcast goes on, I'm always watching more and, you know, loving different things and finding new actors and actresses. So hopefully I will eventually find some Japanese and some Thai actors or actresses that I will also want to, you know, do an episode on. So that's it. That's basically the format that these episodes will take on, and I hope you enjoy them. So, to start off this series, I don't think I could think of anyone better than the Chinese actress BaiLu. Now, you've heard me. I have probably put her in, you know, I've talked about her probably a couple of times throughout the episodes that I've released so far. She is probably my favorite actress, you know. And actually, I was looking through the dramas, and she's probably the actress that I've watched most dramas from, just in general. So I discovered her probably in 2019, I would say. And that was a really good year for her. And I basically just went and watched pretty much everything she's been in, and I was looking through my drama list, and actually I didn't know many facts about her, so I learned a lot while doing the, you know, episode notes for this episode, simply because I, you know, knew what dramas she was in. I knew that I liked her as an actress, but I didn't know like any facts about her. So this was like quite an informative research episode, so to speak, and I actually really, really enjoyed her, you know, finding out a lot about her, and, you know, her journey into acting and whatnot was actually really interesting. So I'm very much looking forward to sharing what I found with you guys, and without any further ado, let's get right into the episode. So, the first little part will be basically about like just some facts, very, very basic facts, because I will definitely never go into like private lives or anything like that. That's none of my business. I will not talk about like family or anything like that. Again, none of my business. So when I say facts, it's literally like their age and, you know, stuff like that. So very, 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 very basic facts. I used Wiki Addicts to find out this information. So this is accurate as far as, you know, what I found out for my research. So, yeah, so hopefully everything's correct. I did try and, like, double check as much as I could, so... but yes, so actually, this surprised me because I really did not know this, but her real name is not BaiLu. That is a stage name, I would say. Her real name is Bai Meng Yan. That is, you know, the name that she was born with. So, yeah, that was quite fascinating because obviously I have always just known her as BaiLu, and obviously that's the name she goes for, you know, for her acting and everything. So that was quite interesting. So she was born on the 23rd of September 1994, and she was born in Jiangsu, China. Obviously. She's a Libra sign, and her Chinese zodiac is the dog, and she works under the Hanyu Film Company. And the last little fact that I have on my list is the fact that actually she speaks both Korean and Cantonese. And yeah, I had heard her speak Korean a couple of times, so I assumed she did. So that wasn't as a surprise to me, but I didn't know she spoke Cantonese as well. So yeah, that's all the facts I've gathered. Like I said, very, very basic. I don't necessarily want to, when doing these episodes, I don't necessarily want to go into, private lives or anything like that. So they are very, very basic. Facts. And yeah, with that, the next little segment will be basically like just her path, her career and where she started and everything. And to me, this was really, really surprising. So I gathered this information both from my drama list and from Wikipedia, and there was a lot that I didn't know. And one of the things that really, really shocked me was the fact that some of the very first dramas that I watched from her were actually some of her very first dramas in general. And that's really surprising to me because I've always really enjoyed her and always found her to be really good. Now I might be biased, but in general, I've always liked her not necessarily her characters, but her acting of them. So, to find out now that some of the dramas that I watched were her first dramas and like quite how much later she started in acting, that also shocked me. But without further ado, let's get into, where she came from in terms of her career, where she started, etc. So, in 2010, she enrolled into a foreign language major, and that was with the Changzhou Technical Institute of Tourism. She was actually quite fond of reading and also quite talented at writing, and her teachers basically encouraged her to participate in the Jiangsu Provincial Essay Writing Competition, which she actually placed first. Now, I find this really, really interesting because it kind of makes sense that, for an actor to be talented at writing, that kind of makes sense that it helps them with acting because they can be able to build those characters, if that makes sense. So I thought that was quite a fun fact from her, early years in college, and I would assume this would equate to, college and university in the West. So yeah, that was that. And actually, in those years, she also debuted as a screenwriter for a drama on psychosocial themes and another on classroom culture. And by drama, I mean, actually, I think she wrote these as, actual dramas, theatre more than actual dramas. And both of these were pretty well received by the audiences. I'm assuming these were very small, university kind of made things more than anything else. I couldn't really find it probably is available out there. I couldn't really find the names of them or anything like that, so that's just what I have, as some information into that. And then in 2012, she actually participated in the SM Entertainment auditions, and those are like, I think, the ones that that SM holds for like international people, not necessarily for Korean people. Yeah, that was quite interesting. But now it makes sense why she speaks Korean. Obviously, her major was in foreign languages, so it makes sense. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, she did not pass that audition. So, she went on with her life in China. And in 2015, she graduated from her major and began working as a graphic model for Taobao. Now, Taobao is like a huge online shopping platform, and it is owned by one of the giants, that is Alibaba. And basically, that's where she kind of like had her start. And she actually soon after scored the magazine cover for Literary Style magazine. So yeah, this is kind of like where she started before she did focus more on acting. She started as a model, and it kind of, I think that sometimes actors that start as models can work really well because they kind of like know how to hold themselves in front of a camera, if that makes sense, and that can really aid them. And I think this probably worked in her favor in the long run. So in those years, in 2015, she also was part of a couple of short films produced by Catry Studio, and I think that's how you pronounce it, which all gained her some online attention. Again, I think I didn't write them down, but though the names of those films are... So it's called Meeting You Is Such a Good Thing. Now, I could only find that one name for that one, and I haven't actually been able to find it anywhere, so I'm guessing it's like one of those that is a lot harder for international fans to come across. Now, probably if I dug a little deeper, I could probably come across it, but on the surface of what I looked for, I couldn't find it. But yes, that was 2015 for her. And in 2016, now this is, I think, when there's a shift into her more acting after the short films, because in 2016, she actually signs her contract with her current company. To this day, it's still the company she works under, and that is Hanyu Film Company. And she also acted in her very first TV series in 2016, and that was Zhao Ge, and she played a noble lady. Again, I haven't watched this one, and I haven't been able to find it, and I don't think... Now, if any of you are BaiLu fans and have watched it or have come across it, please let me know, because I'd be super interested to check it out. But yes, that was it. 2017 was actually when she played her very first lead role, and that's in the drama King is Not Easy. I will come back to this one a little bit later when I go through her dramas. And then 2018, she was awarded Newcomer Award by Aichi All-Star Carnival for her role in the historical romance drama Untouchable Lovers. And I wrote this one down specifically because she played a support role in that drama. She was not part of the main roles. So it was quite good that she played a support role and she was still able to, be awarded for that role in that drama. And then 2021, she won Most Popular Actress at the IGQ Awards for her role Shi in One and Only, one of my favourites. I will definitely come back to that one later on in the episode. And she was also nominated for Best Actress for the same role for the 34th Hyundai Awards. And that's that for 2021. And then in 2022, most recently, she won Most Popular Young Actress at 7th Global Diplomats Chinese Culture Night. Now, when I read that, and I hadn't really researched the rest of it, I was like, Most Popular Young Actress, like, why is I suppose she is quite young. She's 28 currently. But still, I did not know that she only started acting really more, focused on acting in 2016. That is really not that long ago. And that was one of the facts that really shocked me because I probably discovered her so I started watching dramas in 2018. So a lot of the dramas that I watched from her, I watched watched in 2019 kind of year, and that's when I discovered BaiLu. And I'm shocked that when I discovered her playing those roles, she had literally only been acting for a couple of years, and she didn't go to, you know, an acting school or anything like that. She went to, you know, learn. Her major was in foreign languages. So I was fascinated to learn all of these like little facts about her and her career, because it just kind of like cements that I think BaiLu has kind of like a special something about her that's, you know, yes, she is quite talented and she probably works pretty hard at her craft, but I think there's like a natural, you know, talent there that sort of comes to her, especially when it comes to her chemistry. I've said it before, and to me personally, she has a lot of on-screen chemistry, and she tends to have it with a lot of people. And by that, I mean, she doesn't just have chemistry with her, you know, male co-stars. She has chemistry with like the friends, or, you know, the family, that, you know, all the surrounding characters she has like that chemistry with. And, you know, chemistry to me doesn't necessarily just have to be romantic chemistry. It can be, you know, love between friends or love between family. There needs to be that spark between those relationships as well. And I think she does that really, really well. And initially, when I started watching her, I thought, is this something that is her, or is this something that's just the rest of the you know, the rest of the actors really clicked really well for this drama? And the more I watched of her with, you know, different actors, different actresses, different age ranges, I was like, actually, I think this is, you know, something that's probably the people surrounding her as well and acting with her, but it's something that she does pretty well. So, and I think once you watch her in like the behind the scenes, which I have, she's kind of like that person, or at least like I will never assume to know any actors or actresses or idols in general, just because we just simply never know. But I think like when you watch her in the behind the scenes, she's quite fun, and she's kind of like the life of the party almost. So I think when you're that kind of person, just in general, she seems quite bubbly and quite fun to be around. So I think that kind of creates a really nice atmosphere on set, and, you know, makes it easier for people to click both off screen and then on screen. That kind of like translates really well to on screen. So yeah, that's all the things that I've collected in terms of her career, and just, you know, where she came from and, you know, the steps that she took. So I was, you know, quite fascinated to kind of go in and learn a lot about that. And also, I did not write down every single award she's been nominated for, or even every single award that she's won, because otherwise I would be here for a while. So I just kind of like picked a couple that I thought, you know, were standouts. So now I'm actually just going to move on into her dramas and go through the list of all of her dramas and just pick out the ones that I have watched. And actually, I've pretty much watched most of them, so I will give a couple of words on the ones that I have watched. So like I mentioned a little bit earlier, her very first drama, as in a lead role, was the 2017 King Is Not Easy. And in that drama, she plays the role of Da Shi, and she is basically a palace helper who accidentally swaps into the body of the king. Now, this is a very comedy heavy kind of drama. I watched it, I can't remember when, I watched it a while ago. And I remember that I just laughed throughout the whole thing. It was very, very funny, but also it then led to some scenes which are quite, you know, heartfelt. So there, you know, it was a pretty easy drama to watch. If I'm not misremembering, I think it's like 22 episodes maybe. So I think it's one that's on the shorter side of things. So that makes it even easier to watch. But yes, I quite enjoyed this one. It's, like I said, very it relies a lot on the comedy because obviously she's swapping lives with the king, and the king is kind of like this, you know, very closed off kind of mean person in a sense. And there's one scene that I remember, and I watched this so long ago, but this scene is quite vivid because it's very early on. He's kind of like telling her off and he's in his body, and then they kind of like get swapped, and she has so much fun with it because now she's the king, and like all of these people are following her, and like the actual king is inside her body. So it is quite funny. It leads to a lot of shenanigans, and I just double checked. It's actually 20 episodes and they are only about 30 minutes. And actually that says 30 minutes, but if you take out the like beginning credits and ending credits, they're only about 25, some even 20 minutes long. So it is a very nice, easy watch. But I really enjoyed it. You know, it is not by far any like very high production value or anything like that, but even so, even in saying that, it was still a really nice, enjoyable watch. So you fast forward a little bit, and then in 2018 she was in the drama Untouchable Lovers, which is what she won her award for. And she played Wang Xiaoqian, or she also played Han Xiao. Like I said, she was a support role in this drama. I have not watched this one simply because it is a drama that hasn't really appealed to me. Now, if she was the main role in it, I would probably check it out. But now that like I know that she actually won a award for that specific role, I'm even more curious. So I may just go in and like give it a couple of episodes and see if it's something that I would want to stick with, just to like check out her performance throughout the drama. So yes, that's, you know, 2018's Untouchable Lovers. And then we come to 2019, and this is when I discovered her, and I did not realize that she had only had 2 dramas under her belt, like, and by that TV series, because she'd done a couple of other things. But, you know, 2019 was quite a big year for her. And by that, I mean, she had 3 dramas released in 2019. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean they were recorded in 2019, because as we know with Chinese dramas, they get recorded sometimes a year in advance, you know, maybe longer than that. So, you know, that's just when they were released. She had 3 dramas released in 2019, and I have watched all these 3 dramas, and that is, so the first one that was released in 2019 is called Lucky's First Love, and she plays a character called Xing Yun, and she is a sketch artist who wants to become a game designer. She then takes, you know, finds a spot into this company who is a game developer, I believe, and that's her, you know, she wants to be a game designer, and the CEO in that company is pretty cold, and basically the company's not doing very well, but the male lead kind of wants to turn that around. His father doesn't think he can do it, and he's like really invested in doing so. He believes he can do it, so yeah, it's kind of like the team coming together and basically turning the company around. And this is like an office rom-com, I would say, and I use the word office rom-com very loosely in this, because I don't think, yes, you do see them in the office and whatnot, but it's very much still a rom-com. Now, what I would say about this drama, whoever styled her, my God, they put this awful wig on her that's like really short, and it's kind of like this coppery color. Now, the color I don't mind, the cut is dreadful, and it's so obviously a wig that I was like, oh my God. So whenever people who have watched this drama, whenever they talk about it, one of the things that always gets brought up about it is the fact that she had this dreadful wig, and it really was quite bad. But wig aside, the drama as a whole was pretty, an easy watch. Again, it's, rom-com, it's fluffy. So I really enjoyed it. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Lucky's First Love was actually the very first drama I watched her in. Kind of liked her, and then went and checked out a couple of other things. And so the next thing that she was in is called Arsenal Military Academy. Now, this is probably one of her most well-known roles, behind the Legends and then whichever, more recent dramas, I would say. But Arsenal Military Academy, she plays Shi Xiang and she plays Shi Yang Chen. And so she basically, this is based, in the time period that China is at war with Japan, and basically the government in China was, I can't remember the word, I can't remember the word, guys, but basically they were getting young, fit males to sign up for the war effort. That's basically what it was. And so we start off as our female lead kind of wants to do her bit for the war effort, and what she does is she actually dresses up as, cuts her hair, binds her breasts, sort of thing, and she passes as her brother. And the beginning of this drama is quite funny because she basically has to pass like this physical test, and she gets quite creative to make sure that she kind of like passes it without people finding out that she is in fact a woman and not a man. So yeah, that was quite good. Now, I think what people really, really enjoyed in this drama, because I will tell you right now, guys, this one is very much for the, for the glory of China, in the sense that it is based on real events. So, it is based in a real time period in Chinese history. So you will see a lot of like heavy propaganda within the drama, I would say. And by propaganda, I mean, how to explain it? It is based on a war. If you know that, you just can't get around it. But they made it that basically she goes into this like training unit, and they become like a found family within that training unit. And she actually is sharing a room with our male lead, and our male lead is played by Shu Kai. And this is probably one of the things that made this drama shine so much, is that the pairing of these two together was brilliant. These two have so much sizzle, so much chemistry on screen, that they actually got paired to do another drama. So I really, really enjoyed both of their performances, even though I didn't necessarily enjoy like all the war stuff behind it, if that makes sense. A lot of it got a little bit long-winded for me, but that's just because that's not necessarily the type of drama that I go for. So yeah, but even saying that, even with that aspect, I still really, really, really enjoyed this one. So yeah, that was Arsenal Military Academy, again, released in 2019. And then, probably one of my favourite roles by her to this day still is, again, a drama that was released in 2019, and it is called The Legends, and she played the character Lu Zhao Yao, and she is basically she starts off as like this girl that lives with her grandpa on the mountains. So they are pretty, isolated from the rest of the world. They kind of like look after a cave that has, they don't know, but it has like a human, he's actually the son of the devil, stuck, imprisoned in that cave. And they kind of like look after, make sure that the barriers are kind of like all set. And it's just her and her grandpa. And she's very curious about the world. And basically events lead her to her releasing the devil's son. And not only that, but she gets betrayed by somebody who she wanted to trust, and a tragic event kind of leads her to create her own sect. And this sect is kind of like seen as the evil bad sect, and basically, she becomes the leader of that sect, but she gets a little bit too cocky, a little bit too up herself, and she actually ends up dying. And then she comes back, but she only comes back like as a spirit, and she possesses the body of a disciple from the immortal sect. And the immortal sect would probably be like the opposite of, that it would technically be like the gods and the good ones. Although in Xianxia, what I love is that when they say the immortal sect or, the gods, they don't necessarily mean that they are good people. Just like when they say the demon sect, they don't necessarily mean those are the bad people. Quite often they are shades of grey on both sides. And that's something I really, really love about Chinese fantasy in general. So, yeah, again, she played the male lead, so the devil's son is played by Shu Kai. And just as an aside, Shu Kai's wig in this drama, it is stunning. It's like this long black wig, but it has like reflections of blue in the light. The styling on him was really, really nicely done. And then BaiLu's styling in this was also really, really nicely done. I loved all the styling. It was really, really pretty. This is still one of my favorite Xianxia dramas. So yeah, this is, I think, the drama that probably really, really cemented BaiLu as like one of my favorite actresses, I think. And after this, I would probably like check out all her dramas. So if it has BaiLu in it, I will probably just give it, a little check to see, because for me, with my favorite actors and actresses, like, I will check a drama out for them, but I will not stick to that drama if I'm not enjoying it just because they are in it. I know some people can do that. I personally can't. So that's just, me. So yeah, that was 2019 for her. And then in 2020, she had the drama Love is Sweet, and she played the character Jiang Jun. Again, I just forgot to mention, basically all of these characters, apart from Untouchable Lovers, it's all main roles that she has played. But yeah, 2020, Love is Sweet, she plays Jiang Jun, and she plays a girl who is allergic to her own tears. Can you imagine that? Like, not being able to cry because you are literally allergic to your own tears. It was like a crazy concept, but it kind of worked for the drama. But basically, she has a degree in economics and psychology, and she's kind of like an idealist because her family is quite in a well-off position. Things change up, though. Something happens with her father, and things change up, and she actually ends up working for an economic company where she meets our male lead, and it turns out that, like, he's someone who she knows very well. They kind of, like, grew up together, and he was someone that always drove her crazy when they were childs. He teases her endlessly, but obviously behind all of that, he has a huge crush on her. And when I tell you the chemistry between these two, it is spicy, it is goodness, like, it is hot, the chemistry between these two. So much so that, again, she's doing another drama with him, which I cannot wait for it to premiere, but I will mention that at the end of the episode. But yeah, that was with the male lead Lu Yunqi, and Love is Sweet is definitely more a office romance than anything else, but I still very, very much enjoyed it. I really enjoyed their relationship as a whole. I did get a little bit lost when it came to like all the economic stuff. Like, I don't do numbers, I don't do maths, and there was a lot of that in this. But even saying that, again, just like with Arsenal Military Academy, that's the settings that, the drama is placed in, but it worked out pretty well because it doesn't necessarily deter me from watching them, which can happen, but for both of these cases, it didn't. So I was quite happy for that. Now, Here comes the only drama that I have watched her in and that I have not completed. And that is, again, a 2020 drama, and it's called BaiLu Overlord. And she plays the character of Long Ao Yi. She plays a mob boss who represents the lower society. And basically, I believe I made it through about 8 to 10 episodes. This was a while ago, so I can't remember, but I remember I made it through about that much, and I just couldn't. I loved her, but the male lead just did not work for me at all. So I had to drop it, and I was so sad. Again, this just proves exactly what I mean, that although I will start or try a lot of dramas for favorite actors and actresses, I will definitely drop them if I'm not enjoying them. I will give them probably a couple more episodes than I would if it was a drama that wasn't, from a favorite, but I will not stick to them unless I'm enjoying them. So yeah, that was the drama BaiLu Overlord. The male lead just didn't work for me, and actually the plot itself just kind of didn't work for me either. So yeah, that was that. And then we move on to 2021, where she actually had 4 dramas premiere. Now, one of them, she was a very, very, very minor support role on the side, and that is the drama Ace Troops. And she was, again, a support role, and she played the character Hu Young. This is the drama that was led by, oh my god, how am I forgetting his name? That is insane. Oh my god, this is gonna drive me nuts because he's one of my favorites, and now I'm blanking on his name. Oh my god. Shaozan, that's who it was. Oh my god, I can't believe I just forgot his name. I feel like I'm gonna be influxed with messages from friends, especially because they will be like, how could you forget Shaozan's name? But yes, this was the drama led by him after quite a while of not airing dramas. I will probably be doing an episode on Shaozan, so I will get into that when it comes to the episode. But yeah, she only appeared in literally the first couple of episodes. So I did watch that, but the drama was just too heavy on the military aspect of it, which I kind of should have known, but I wanted to try it anyways because I really like Shaozan. So I really, really wanted to try it. Unfortunately, I just couldn't. It wasn't for me. So I dropped it. But yeah, she does appear in that. And I think like I said, I only watched the first couple of episodes. She is in those. I don't know if she has any more appearances later on. But yeah, she is only billed as very much a support role. Now, next up in 2021, she did the drama One and Only, and again, Forever and Ever. I am not going to go into these. I have a whole review episode if you want to check that out. But she plays the character Shi Yi in both of them. So I absolutely adored both of these dramas. They were probably some of my favorites from 2021. And again, I will always say they go hand in hand. So yeah, that's that. Again, I won't go too much into it. I've done a review episode on them. I love them. That's as far as I'll get into it in this one. And then the last one she had airing in 2021 is actually one I haven't checked out. And it's called Song of Youth. And she plays a character, Lin Xiaoshun. And her family is basically destroyed because of a false accusation. So she joins a traveling troupe and gains the attention, I believe, of a prince or of a nobleman. Something along those lines. This is one I haven't watched. I don't know why I haven't checked this one out. I think it's set in a historical period setting that I don't necessarily enjoy watching. It might be Ming. It might be Ming Dynasty. I might be misremembering completely, so please correct me if I'm wrong. But I think that's why I didn't check it out. And I think at the time I was so busy with other dramas that I just didn't get a chance and it wasn't calling to me. But it's definitely on my list because apart from that and and Untouchable Lovers, which she only plays a, side role, I have pretty much watched every single one of her dramas, which aren't very many, which surprised me even more. So I will just say the last one. So in 2022, she only had one drama premiere, which I'm pretty sad about, but she did only have one drama premiere, and that is the drama Ordinary Greatness, where she plays Xia Ji, and basically her father dies in the line of duty, and she joins the police force. So her father was a police officer. He dies in that line of duty, and she joins the police force, and she actually ends up working at the same squad that her dad used to belong to. So they kind of all know her, and they kind of seen her grow up. So there is that, and it's her story along with other beginner cops and how they police the neighborhood. It is very, very centered on neighborhood kind of thing. It's kind of like a found family within the police squad, and I really, really enjoyed it. It was one of those that is, it's focused on small problems, so to speak, not big problems, but I just overall really enjoyed that one. So yeah, that is all of her dramas, and that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Is that 11? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 dramas. Can you believe she's only been in 12 dramas? That is insane to me. I never thought. And also, I've watched all of them bar one, which is, well, actually bar two, Untouchable Lovers, where she's a support role. That shocks me even more. So yeah, I thought she had more roles, and I just really hadn't, looked into it to check them out. So yeah, this is why I wanted to do these episodes, because I feel like not only do I get to learn a lot of things about, the actors and actresses that I like, but I get to pass that on to you guys if you enjoy them. I think it's quite interesting to know these facts and stuff. So yeah, that is all of her dramas, and again, I'm still shocked that she only started properly, investing in TV series and whatnot in 2016. Now, there is something that I didn't really go into, and that is the fact that she does actually a lot of variety. She's been on Happy Camp, and she's been which is a variety show in China. Now, a lot of the time, a lot of these aren't available to international audiences. So that's probably why I didn't necessarily put it in, in the episode. But she does do, that as well. She will participate in, variety shows, and she's hilarious. I have seen clips, and like I said, behind the scenes of her recording, she's so funny. She's and she has this very loud, boisterous, contagious laugh, which just kind of makes you laugh as well. So I think that her personality kind of it's a kind of personality, at least, again, I have no claims of knowing her, but from what you can see from the behind the scenes and whatnot, it's the kind of personality that people kind of want to gravitate towards. So I think that kind of helps her on screen, in the sense that it's maybe easier for her to connect with, male leads, or, friends, or, just in general, other actors and actresses. So yeah, that's everything I've got for her dramas. And for the last little bit of this episode, I just want to talk about, she's got a couple of upcoming dramas, and I have mentioned them in the past, but it's only fair that I kind of mention them here in this episode, because I am so excited for all of these, and I feel like we might get one of them pretty soon from me recording this episode. I feel I don't know if I'm just trying to project this out into the world, but I feel like we may be getting one soon, and that just makes me so happy, because it's been so long since we've had a BaiLu drama, and all of these, like I said, I am so excited for them. So the first one is the drama Till the End of the Moon. This is a Yoku production. It is a xianxia drama, and she stars against her the male lead Liu Yunqi, who she played Love is Sweet with, who she was in with for Love is Sweet in 2021, 2020? It might be 2020. I literally just talked about these. But yes, in 2020, that I was right. 2020, and the chemistry for these is incredibly good already. Like, we know the chemistry is going to be on point. Now, what I found really, really interesting, when they released the stills, like a while back last year at some point, the stills for this was so pretty. It was basically like the character, so, you know, the actors and the actresses, solo stills, and they were standing in front of the mirror, and the kind of pose that they were doing with their bodies outside of the mirror was different to the pose they were doing inside the mirror, if that makes sense. But what I really, really loved was the styling. It is a type of styling that I haven't personally come across before, especially in like xianxias. So I'm so excited to see what this drama entails, because I know the chemistry is going to be good, and if it all, you know, goes to pot, at the very least, I know we're going to have good chemistry on screen because we've seen it before. So I am very, very excited for that. Well, I'm excited for all of these dramas, but this one is one of those that, you know, it's xianxia. It speaks to me already. And then like the costuming, like I said, in the posters was really, really interesting, really beautiful, different colors. So I'm very excited for this one. And the next one, which I think may be the one we may get in the next, I don't know. I don't want to say it, but I think we may get it soon. And by soon, I know like soon in Chinese dramaland can really mean anything, but I do actually think we may get it soon. And that is the the drama called Story of Kuning Palace, and that's, she stars with a couple of male actors in that, but the main role is played by Zhang Linghe, and he just played, I think his most recent drama is probably as the second male lead in Love Between Fairy and Devil. So I really like his acting. I've seen him in a couple of things, and yes, I am very, very biased, but I tend to believe that BaiLu can kind of like bring out the best in her, you know, male co-stars. So I'm really excited to see what these two can do, what these two can do together on screen. I have kind of enjoyed a couple, they've released a couple of behind the scenes and a couple of like interviews and things, and it seems good so far. It is probably the one out of these three, the one that I'm like least excited for, but mainly because I'm super fan, you know. The first one, I know the chemistry is already guaranteed, and the third one, you will very shortly realize why I'm so excited for it. But yeah, that's the Story of Kuning Palace. And the last one, guys, when I tell you this is like a match made for me, I'm like, I cannot. When I heard the news for this drama, I literally shrieked. I was that excited. And that is the drama Only for Love. And the reason I'm so excited is because it's BaiLu, one of, you know, like I said, favorite actresses, and her co-star is none other than Wang Hedi. And I'm like, my favorite, you know, recently favorite male actor, and I am so excited to watch these two on screen together. I feel like they are going to be pretty good. They have, this one is actually, at the time that I'm recording this, is actually still filming, and they've released, well, they haven't, they've released a couple of like photos, posters, and that's really it. But there's been a few, like, you know, paparazzi, you know, fan kind of like leaked videos, so to speak, of them like just recording on, you know, on streets and whatnot. And oh my god, guys, like, these two together just in those like sneaked videos and stuff, they already look so good. They already look so good on screen. And basically so she's going to play, BaiLu is going to play a journalist, and Wang Hedi is going to play a CEO. Can you already, like, it's going to be rom-com. Like, I feel it. It's going to be romance. And basically he doesn't really accept interviews from anybody at all, but he kind of like has been following her articles, and he sees that like his beliefs kind of align with the way that she writes and what she stands for in her writing. So he actually allows her to interview him, and that's where the story is gonna develop from. And guys, I'm so excited for this drama. Like, I know we probably, at the very earliest, we won't even see it because it's filming now. So January 2023, it is still filming. So if we're lucky, we will see it maybe third, fourth quarter of the year. And that is if we're lucky. Now, the good thing that it has going for it is a modern drama. So the, post-production is easier than, say, if it's a xianxia drama. But I'm so, like, I'm not sure I can convey to you how excited I am. This is probably, like, Till the End of the Moon, I'm very excited for. It's the genre I like. It's a couple that have, they've worked together before. So I'm super excited for that one, but Only for Love is like probably out of the three. I don't know. Only for Love and Till the End of the Moon are the two that I'm really, really excited for. Now, I was saying this to somebody, if all three of these dramas, so Till the End of the Moon is completely finished, it has a green light, it's ready to air, so Youku can literally drop that on us at any point. And Story of Kuning Palace, that's an iQIYI production, and I believe that has also passed review and everything, so that also has a green light and it can air at any point. Only for Love, unfortunately, guys, I was so sad for this. It is a Mango TV production, and I was like, no, don't do this to me. And I say that because Mango TV is horrible for international fans. I am just praying that when this does release, it gets picked up by Viki or by other platform that, offers international viewers actual subtitles instead of gibberish. So yeah, that was my only thing for this one. I was a little bit sad to see that it was Mango TV. But regardless, I'm still very, very excited. If all of these three come out this year, I feel like BaiLu is going to have a ridiculously good year. Now, I'm saying this and I haven't even watched them. They could all be, terrible. I don't think they will be. I'm hoping they won't. But yes, that is, her upcoming works. And that wraps up. That's it. That's everything from my BaiLu episode. I have learned a lot doing this, and actually I think I will learn a lot going through with this series throughout the year. But what did you guys think? What do you like the format of this episode? Is this something that you find good to listen to? Please let me know, because this is a very, very new format, a very, very new idea that I'm testing out. So hopefully I can get some feedback from you guys and you can let me know what you've thought about it. And yes, that is everything for this week. I hope you guys have a lovely week, and I shall see you next time. This has been another episode of the Tea and Soju Asian Drama Podcast. I'm your host, Liliana, and you can come and chat to me on Instagram, Tea and Soju Pod, all one word, and on Twitter, tea_soju_pod. You can also email me at teandsojupodcast@gmail.com. If you would like to support this podcast, please consider joining Patreon for extra content. Lastly, if you enjoy this podcast, please help by rating and reviewing wherever you listen to help others find this drama corner. I'll leave everything linked in the description notes. See you next time for more Asian drama chatter.